Butte Silver Bow, an exciting announcement about the community change grant that Butte Silver Bow is receiving for our Butte Silver Bow Community Resiliency Hub. This is a $20 million grant, and it's a no-match grant that has been awarded to us from the EPA. And I think back to how we got here and why we're here today. And when I was Parks and Rec director, we'd hear from many people in the community that we needed some place where people could go to that allowed them to be well, have fitness in mind, be able to recreate, have a safe place for kids to go after school, to have a place of gathering in the community, and Butte was lacking that. And most of our facilities in the community are school gyms or other facilities that are great for our community, but we lack those resources there. And then we also lacked some of the things that we needed in our community, a safe place for our community to go when we have health events, specifically wildfire events. And I think that all of us can really relate now as we see what's happening in California and the wildfires that are going on there, and the need for a place for the community to go that's safe for them to go when the unhealthy conditions happen within our community. And everybody that lives here in Butte understands how that works. I mean, there's times we don't have wildfires within 100 miles of us, and yet our community is in an unhealthy state in the community. So this allows for community to have a safe place to go. But it's so much more than that. It's about the health of the community. It's about lifestyles that people can go to. It's about art and culture and all the things. And then we build in resiliency to it. And so, like I said, back when I was a Parks and Rec director, and we have a former director in here, Bob Rawlings, who did a fantastic job over a number of years that he's been our Parks and Rec director. And so I know these are things that the community's been asking for a long time, and this allows us an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to have comments following, but I want to welcome our people from the EPA Region 8. They've been so fantastic in helping us, guide us through this grant. And so I'm going to introduce Danielle Aragoni. I'm sorry, I mispronounced it. I'm going to introduce her and let her come up and speak. But with her today is Jason Morris, who helped us as we put our application in. When we said that we were conditionally awarded on this, that he was the Region 8 person on board that really worked with all of us to guide us through there. Dave Doran, he was fantastic as well. The EPA team at Region 8 was so fantastic in helping us guide us with our team, and I'm going to recognize our team after Danielle comes up here, and Taylor Gillespie, who runs the public relations side of things for us, and so instrumental in keeping in contact with all of us and really getting the word out about this. So I want to welcome Danielle up here to speak about this a little bit, and then I'll come back up and say a few words.
Thanks, JP. Folks, there's some seats up here in front if you don't feel like standing. Make yourselves comfortable. Anyway, really glad to be here. Thanks again for having us. My name is Danielle Aragoni. I'm the Director of the Environmental Justice, Community Health, and Environmental Working Division of EPA's Region 8. That's a lot of words. I apologize. But I'm really happy to be here with the team today to celebrate this award. Before I start, I do want to acknowledge again, JP and his leadership, Karen Vines, who's done so much great work and will do so much great work going forward, and the representatives from Senator Daines and Senator Sheehy's office. Again, thank you for your support, and really thanks to all of you for being here today to celebrate this beginning step in this process. It's going to be a several-year one. We hope to see you all back at the ribbon cutting in a few years, but really glad to have the sort of community support at the outset. So as some of you know, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act have provided the largest infusion of funding in EPA's history. These resources have allowed us at EPA to offer new funding opportunities, many of which help us advance environmental justice for underserved and overburdened communities across the country. The community change grants are just one of these initiatives, investing a total of about $2 billion in IRA funds in projects that reduce pollution, increase community resilience, and build community capacity to respond to environmental challenges. I'm really excited to be here today to announce that today, EPA finalized the $20 million Community Change Grant Award to Butte Silver Bow and Headwaters Resource Conservation and Development. So quick applause for that. This award represents more than just the project itself. It really represents the leadership, the foresight, and dedication to the community by Butte Silver Bow leadership and years of planning and thoughtful community engagement along the way to get here. All of that hard work and dedication has paid off, as this is the only award made under the Community Change Grant Program in Montana. So you should be proud of yourselves for that as well. I'm not going to sit here bragging rights, but this was a really competitive process, but the Butte Silver Bow application was truly outstanding. You all, and those who were behind the application, zeroed in on the EPA, the goals of EPA, of our environmental and climate justice program, to develop this resilience hub that will realize transformative change through community development initiatives. It will support people in areas that are most adversely impacted by climate change and environmental damage, and to provide a healthy space to shelter from disasters and harmful conditions, such as the wildfires. In addition, this Butte Community Resilience Hub is a strategic investment in civic assets. It will provide an inclusive, safe space to connect people of all backgrounds, cultivating trust and countering some of the socioeconomic fragmentation that ultimately will create a stronger and more equitable and more resilient community. The multi-use, flexible space that you can see beautifully illustrated around the room here is designed to evolve with the needs of the community. The Resilience Hub will provide access to a high community space for art, culture, and education, as well as provide a secure space for residents to withstand disasters like thunderstorms, windstorms, wildfire smoke, and flooding. EPA Region 8 that we represent is thrilled to partner with Butte Silver Bow on this impactful and insightful project. We are really proud of our ability to bring additional EPA resources to the area, and I want to spotlight a couple additional opportunities for you all, and particularly for your leadership, to consider for future access. With the passage of these two laws, Bipartisan Infrastructure Law and the Inflation Reduction Act, there really are this unprecedented level of support available to help communities to address environmental issues like replacing lead service lines, cleaning up contamination at sites big and small, and protecting clean air, and many, many more. So there's funding out there, but at the same time, we really recognize that there's a need to break down many of the barriers that historically have kept communities from accessing federal funds. To achieve that, we've recently launched something called the Mountains and Plains Thriving Communities Collaborative, which we refer to as MATTEC for short. It is our region's very own Thriving Communities Technical Assistance Center. I believe that we have a representative from MATTEC here today. Leah, are you here? She's ever here. Make note of her. MATTEC is led by Montana State University, just down I-90, and it's available exclusively to provide technical assistance to communities in Montana and throughout Region 8. MATTEC, and Leah is your gateway to this, connects local governments, community-based organizations, and tribes to funding and resources that are available through federal and state government programs. They serve as a one-stop shop for grant opportunities to help identify what grants are out there, to help guide you on how to put together a strong federal application, to even set up organizations and partnerships that can help you manage the grant and position yourself for success, and then also to guide the community engagement and the facilitation, all of the services that go around having a grant to make sure that it's successful. The program is really aimed at making sure that smaller communities don't miss out on funding opportunities to address environmental challenges. So I want to thank MedTech for their work so far in standing up this center, and really encourage you to connect with Leah after the event. She will be here. I think there's a table here where she'll be available to talk to you more. The second and final resource that I want to bring to your attention, and one certainly you should ask MapTech about, is our recently launched MAP EJ Grants Hub. This is a new entity that is designed to award $50 million going forward in subgrants through a streamlined and expedited process, exclusively here in Region 8. This program, the MAP EJ Grants Hub, will be distributing hundreds of these grants in this region, ranging from $150,000 to about $350,000 to support a wide array of environmental projects and capacity building in communities affected by public health issues. And I want to go on record, I know that JP knows this, that just because Butte Silver Bow received this $20 million community change grant does not disqualify you from tapping that additional program as well. So there's really no excuse to hold back. Bring us your best ideas. We're really looking forward to seeing them. In closing, on behalf of EPA Region 8, I really want to express our appreciation to the City and County of Butte Silver Bow and to really the entire community for your advocacy, for your support, and for your partnership that led to this award today. So with that, I'll turn back to JP. Thank you.
Thank you, Danielle. This was so exciting. And so, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to recognize our community partners that were so instrumental about doing this. First, our EDA here in town, BLDC, Headwaters, Kelly Sullivan and her team were instrumental in bringing this grant to fruition. Of course, we needed a community partner through that EDA. So I want to thank BLDC, Kelly and her team for their work on this as well. And so very much congratulations to you as well. So community partners, and we got such fantastic people in the fields of environmental and engineering and things. And so when this community change grant came out, as I said, we've been visioning about doing a community rec center for a while. I've been working with Anthony Lazovich and Josh Vincent, where we had talked about wanting to figure out a way to get a rec center built. But when this community change grant came out, how we could facilitate and work with it and make it a resiliency hub, we were working with other partners. Shanna Adams from Adams Consulting, she came to the forefront and said, "Hey, I think we have the ability to do this." So Shanna's been instrumental in doing that. Water Environmental Technologies, I mentioned Anthony and Josh, but they've got rock stars on their team that jumped on board and helped us as well, and that's Stephen Coe and Megan Terry, I'm sorry. And they were instrumental in helping us develop this. But it took having us to find some technical assistance on that, and so that takes money. And so when we're out there and we're looking for partners and saying, we don't want to put the burden on taxpayers, is there a community partner that would help us maybe do this? And so I went to Montana Resources and talked to Jack Standa and his team, and they said, yeah, absolutely. We will help you finance this to help with this, the application for the feasibility study that was presented that allowed us to be successful in this award. So I want to thank all of those groups that really came to the forefront and did the work with our Butte Silver Bow team, and I'm going to recognize them in a minute, but would everybody please give all of them a big round of applause. So now let's talk about the Butte Silver Bow team. I'm just one guy that has some type of vision, but we've got to have a team that actually can do the work, because I'm not the guy that does most of the work that gets done there. And so we've got an incredible economic development director, and Karen Burns, no matter what is brought to her, she jumps on board and says, how do we get it done? And so Karen has been a huge part of this. Julia Crane, our planning director, we've got to have the understanding of how we got here, where the plans came from, what it took to get here. And so Julia's been a big piece of this. Shelley Cleverly, out of Karen Burns' economic development team, who now is with the Department of Reclamation and Environmental Services, but she was our grant writer, and she worked hand in hand in getting this and collaborating that. And so I wanted to make sure that we recognize Shelley and all the work that she's done, because she did an incredible amount of work for us. Karen Hassler, and the Finance and Budget Director. This is going to be a big implementation and a lot of work to make sure that we're following all the guidelines and the parameters that go along with that. And so that puts a big burden on our finance and budget. It doesn't just happen. We have to make sure that we're facilitating those funds correctly. And so I want to thank Karen and her team. Mark Neary with the Public Works Department. Our Public Works Department, no matter what's done, whether it's clearing the snow, doing whatever needs to be done, it's our Public Works Department is fantastic in everything that they do, and they'll be a big part of this as we connect into this community hub. And then Sean Frederickson, our Parks and Rec Director, this is going to become part of a really instrumental piece of our Parks and Rec Department and a change agent of what our community is going to look like for this. And so Sean's going to be a big piece of that. And so I just want to thank them. And then, of course, I want to thank our Council of Commissioners that when we brought it forward to them and said, hey, we want to apply for this grant, that they said yes. And that it takes that of our commissioners and believing in our vision of what we're going to do. So I want to thank all of them, give them a big round of applause, and then I'm going to turn it over to Karen. She's going to do a little bit more on this.
Thanks, JP, so much for that introduction, and thank you everyone for coming out today. We are so excited for this opportunity, and as JP said, you have to think big to do big things, and so if you don't think big and dream big, it's not going to happen. So nothing's off the table, so think big all the time. This grant and the resulting resiliency hub is set to fill one of the greatest wants, needs, and desires of our community. It's been overwhelmingly identified by the citizens through public participation. To say that we've utilized the power of strategic planning is an understatement. We are putting these plans into action. The Butte Silver Bow, or the Butte Community Resiliency Hub, is a culmination of efforts to meet the most critical needs of our community. These needs have been identified through multiple plans over the years, and all of these plans pointed in one direction, and that's this direction, this vision that you see before you. Just to name some of those plans, the 2020 Butte Silver Bow Comprehensive Plan, the Uptown Butte Master Plan, the Parks and Rec Master Plan, the Recreation for Rural Economies Plan, the Community Housing Plan, the Community Health Needs Assessment, the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, and the EPA-led charrette on the Galena Street corridor for Brownsfield redevelopment plans. And also, we had a workshop that was led by EcoAdapt. And this EcoAdapt workshop focused on climate resiliency and climate change. And this vision for this center came out of all of those plans. They all pointed in one direction. And here we are bringing that to fruition. So to say that I'm excited and proud about that is an understatement. This hub will provide, as JP mentioned, recreation opportunities for our youth and those who are underserved in our community, including disadvantaged populations. It's going to create a safe community space during wildfire or air quality or weather events. It's also going to provide emergency shelter in time of disaster. So I'm so proud to be a part of the team that assisted in bringing this together, and it was a huge team effort, and that collaboration is something that makes you feel so good. And I want to thank everyone for the role that they played and in this tremendous success, and here we go. Here we go. Now some more of the heavy lifting starts, but it's exciting to keep working on it. I'm going to turn it over now to Julia Crane, our planning director, and she's going to talk a little bit more about some of the planning efforts that we went through.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, everybody, for being here. My name is Julia Crane. I am the planning director here in Butte Silver Bow, and I want to first say congratulations to all of you. This is really about what this is for the future of our community, and it is very future forward. I want to say thank you also to the Environmental Protection Agency for recognizing Butte's need for this facility and granting these funds. And also thanks to the many residents and volunteers and staff who excellently captured the need for this facility in this successful application for grant funds. Beginning nearly 5 years ago, Butte Silver Bow initiated a planning process that has made this award possible. The initial participation by community partners in climate adaptation and resiliency workshop that was held at Montana Tech led to the convening of the Sustainability, Health, and Resiliency Steering Committee, which was made up of a number of participants throughout the community, including Butte Silver Bow, the National Center for Appropriate Technology, and Montana Technological University. These entities together, along with partners from Northwestern Energy, Action Inc., Ripple, and many, many dedicated community volunteers, completed a plan that outlined our community's vision for adaptation needs in the face of increasingly frequent wildfires, temperature fluctuations, and weather impacts. The plan has received recognition, winning awards by the Montana Association of Planners, Plan of the Year, and also the American Society of Landscape Architects, Montana and Idaho Division. This document itself helped to create and guide development of a successful grant application. At its heart, the Sustainability, Health, and Resilience Plan, which was adopted by the Council of Commissioners in 2024 as an addendum to our comprehensive plan, is future-focused and aims to preserve to all of us access to those elements unique to our lives here in our surroundings. In particular, what we value most about living in Southwest Montana. It means our landscape, our pristine waters, and our fresh air will remain accessible and remain valued by our public. Culturally, this community embodies the very definition of resilience. We bear a unique capability as individuals from this place to endure and adapt to changing conditions, and it is emblematic both of our industrial history and it continues to contribute to our revitalization today. This is because of who we are. Through the construction of the Butte Community Resilience Hub, Butte demonstrates yet again its ability to recognize the challenges ahead by planning for the future and creating a shared space that provides for an environmentally just and a high quality of life for generations to come. Thank you.
Well, with that, this is an exciting time for Butte Silver Bow, for our local communities all over in Southwest Montana. We're in a tight timeline, 3 years from the acceptance of the grant to completion of getting this done. So we're going to be working with the community, asking for outreach, working with community partners about what this is going to look like. Montana Tech, the school district, Butte YMCA, all of our partners here in Butte Silver Bow that make the community so great that we get to live in every single day. So with that, we're going to conclude our ceremony today. I'll open it up for any questions that you may have, either of me or with EPA, Region 8, anyone from there. Other than that, take a look at, these are conceptual drawings. Now we start the engineering and the work of getting the design and build done. And so we're on a fast track. So if there's any questions,
JP, we've kind of danced around the term certainty in this whole thing, and you said we need confirmation. Is that certainty and confirmation today?
That certainty and confirmation is today. We received the document to accept the award this morning at about 8 o'clock. And it is the full $20 million grant that we applied for.
And can you give us a better idea? You said it's not going to be so much a fitness center. What will the center offer? What will it look like and what will it offer?
So it's going to be really a facility that accommodates a lot of different things. So it won't have, it's not going to be an event center like we have here at the Butte Civic Center where it's going to be people coming to a certain basketball game and one game going on or anything like that. It's going to have the opportunity to be flexible where you could put multiple courts maybe down on the floor, or you could have community events, you could have fairs, you can have pickleball, you can have all kinds of different things. But also when we talk about arts and culture and stuff, there'll be places within the center that allows for that as well. And so it offers some flexibility. It also offers opportunity to collaborate with our other partners in the community, this school district. So if you have a youth tournament that comes to Butte, and we put multiple courts inside of this, they can utilize the MAC Center, they can utilize East Middle School, we can utilize the Butte Civic Center to bring some of that stuff. So it adds some economic vitality as well, but it's an everyday use facility for the community. So it has opportunity to be very flexible in what the use is going to be.
Have you decided who is going to be working on the facility? Have you sent out calls for engineering firms and things like that?
So we'll have to put out RFP for that. So, you know, as we said, today we are awarded the contract. Now we prepare all those documents and we start putting out, and we'll go through the full process like we do with any of our construction and things that we have to do, so that engineering, design, all of those things, architecture needs to be completed. We have conceptual, as you see here, it's conceptual. We have a pretty good idea. We think we have a great step forward already, ready to move forward on this, but we have to go through all that process still.
Where precisely is it gonna be?
So if you look, if we draw a line straight out behind here and where the paratailings reclamation site was, on the area that's fenced in back there, that's where the facility is going to go.
Where the county shops were?
Where the county shops were, exactly, is where this will be located. And we identified this as a great place because there's so much shared space and parking lots and things like that. We own the property, we know what's underneath the property, we have the infrastructure there. A lot of those costs that would normally be part of the project, we've already got taken care of. So we're a step ahead on that as well.
Can you address the operating costs, JP? I'm sorry. So, grab someone up here.
So when you talk about operating costs, so in the feasibility study, we identified the operating costs, and we had them kind of laid out from potentially a $40 million facility to a $20 million facility. And so those costs are in there. And it's going to cost money to operate this, but we know through the feasibility study that we can operate this, and actually through fees and charges of using the facility that we'll be able to pay for those costs and actually make a little bit of money to take care of that. So we're working on this to make it so it's no impact to the local taxpayer other than the benefit of being there. So yeah, that was the question. So yeah, we've looked closely at other facilities that operate similarly to what we're going to do, and they all operate with being able to offset all that operation costs that come along.
So it has to be completed in 3 years? Is that the deal? So how soon could we see a groundbreaking?
Well, again, we still have to get through the process of putting out RFPs and stuff, but we're going to be on a fast track to this all. And so we've got to meet the guidelines with what the grant application required in there. So there is a 3-year time frame in there, and I believe that's from them accepting the grant to move forward. And so we'll be moving this forward, but we know that's one of the benefits of where we're locating this facility. It gives us a leg up because we have so much of that already done and ready to go.
Sorry,
Yes.
one follow-up to that. So a question that I've gotten from folks and constituents of Senator Daines is why not just take the $20 million challenge grant and upgrade the Civic Center with air filtration and all the bells and whistles, because we already have a building. Why another building?
Because it's not the same building. This facility won't be able to be a rec center for the community. It won't offer the health and the benefit of the everyday activity that we could do that. We could put a filtration system in here and it could meet that need. But within the grant guidelines and the way that we crafted this grant, it's a benefit for the community to be a community center. The Butte Civic Center works extremely well as an event center, and that's essentially all it can do. It's limited in what it can do on an everyday basis, and so this new facility can do so much more. And so this facility is built the way it's built. It doesn't have the opportunity to put those other spaces that we can put into there when we talk about the arts, culture, all those other things that go along with this. So it's just it's a community space that will augment and benefit this facility as well.
And just to be clear, you guys are accepting the grant today, so the 3-year clock starts today?
Yes, that is exactly as we're talking to. Well, we have not signed it, but I have the ability to sign it because the council of commissioners approved our grant application. So as we leave here today, I will get on and I will be signing that. We will get it notarized, and so the clock starts from the time that we do that, so as of today. Any other questions? Well, I want to thank everyone for being here today. This is fantastic news for our community. It's going to be such a benefit, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for our whole community, our youth, through our senior citizens. This is just going to be a benefit for everybody. So thank you for being here today.